Wow! It's 2 minutes to late night!
All right, what's up, deli sandwiches, but you take everything off and put back on just the tomatoes? Welcome to Pod Minutes to Cast Night. I can't believe that guy did that.
Wait, who? What?
That was in the Metallica movie.
Right,
I think
yes.
this was after you had to leave because you were too
I
high.
rewatched it today, and yet I didn't retain anything.
There's a lot of weird sandwich touching in that movie.
They're just poking sandwiches. It's just, you know when you like touch a sandwich so much with your fingers that you're like, I don't even want to eat this now. That's them, but all the time.
Yeah, except they do eat it.
Yeah, and
feel
it was
fine about it.
gross. That's how you know. That's when you know that this was going to be a dark story. Everybody, welcome to 5 Minutes to Cast Night. It's the 2 Minutes to Late Night podcast. Normally, we talk about albums that are considered to be terrible and try to find something good about them. We're just mean about albums most of the time. We're going to start doing just music movies. We're starting with movies. We had a screening of Metallica's Some Kind of Monster. We had to start with it. Sin Anger was the first thing we ever did as a podcast, so it should also be the first movie we do.
This is a nice little bookend, or a nice sandwich.
Yeah, a nicer sandwich than any of the sandwiches in the movie. Before we dive in, did anybody listen to anything that they liked? Look, it doesn't have to be new. It's just something you enjoy, everybody.
Wait,
Thank
Katie.
you for that.
Wait, we got the whole family together for the first time in a while. I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
we should
Yeah.
This
introduce
is
ourselves.
this is a Pod Minutes classic.
Oh, yeah, let's all, sorry, yeah. All right, yeah, you're with the 2 Minutes to Late Night Writers Room.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Hammond, and I'm mad at the rain.
Hello, I'm America's sweetheart, Katie Rose Leon, and I am also mad at the rain. I'm America's sweetheart, Katie Rose Leon, and I got too high at our own event that we were hosting. And I had to leave my own event. To which everyone was like, that's fine.
A tale as old as time. Katie got too high.
It happens to me twice a year, and Jeremy has been around for 3 of the years in a row.
And I sing that song every time.
You sang that on Friday. To me.
I'm Lucy Steiner, and you know your girl went thrifting today.
Oh, my God. Sick, what'd you get?
I got this dress.
It looks
What did you do with your old clothes?
I got a dress with like fake pink flowers on it. I don't think they exist in nature, but
Yeah, I
they're on
thought
this dress.
I thought they were eggs.
you look great,
Oh,
You look
thank
great.
you.
fashionable, and
I feel great.
conscious.
You did. You know, you're the first person the only person I know that has gone thrifting and then just worn the outfit without like washing it 5 times or like putting it in one of those bed bug ovens.
No, I have complete faith in the thrifting industry.
Which thrift store was it?
It was Buffalo Exchange.
Oh no, you're doomed. You're not safe.
There's ants all over my body.
And that's just a regular day.
I definitely, when I was living in Portland, Oregon, on several occasions, woken up so drunk at a stranger's house and had to go buy an outfit at Buffalo Exchange before I showed up to my mall job. So my boss didn't see me wear the same outfit 2 days in a row. I was 22, okay? It was a different time,
I love
different
that.
place.
And I'm Jordan Olds, and all the ants that were on me got too high and had to leave.
Drew.
And sorry. Oh yes,
Drew.
and. Yes, and.
Yes, and hey, I'm Drew Kaufman, and my new therapist is across the street from a laser tag arena. Right? That's what it's called. It's called an arena, because a laser tag court doesn't make sense. A field.
No, it's an arena.
It's a
It's-
battle. So it's
yeah.
got to be an arena.
It's an arena. Yeah, it's a coliseum.
Watch out, folks.
Coliseum on top of a discount sushi restaurant.
The thing is, now I believe that your new goal in therapy is not to get better, but to befriend the therapist, to have enough transference to get the therapist to go play laser tag with you.
Yeah, no, I'm trying not to get better. I'm trying to get stronger.
You could probably pitch it as some sort of a like a therapeutic exercise.
I thought you were going to say you could pitch it as like a Vice story.
You could also do that. You could completely do that. You could also butt chug Mountain Dew with your therapist.
You could play laser tag with your therapist, but only if your therapist is in fact a nug of weed. All right, who listened to something they liked this week?
I actually listened to something new.
Yeah, go for it, Katie.
I listened to the new. I mean, it's not. This suggestion isn't really for our audience, but I feel like there's some crossover here.
Yeah.
The new Empath album came out. It's called Active Listening, and it was actually recorded at Walter Schreifel's house.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not as hardcore as other stuff on that label, but it's also on It's Get Better Records, which is also who makes Hers Collective and stuff like that. It's a little more, like groovy, like it's a little more like stonery, like indie rock, but it's really fun. And I don't know, I was surprised how much I liked it, especially because they're clearly so much younger than me, and I don't know, I was surprised by it.
That rules.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I listened to an artist. I listened to that Billie Eilish girl.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on with her?
Oh,
Yeah.
she's fucking great.
Oh,
I love her.
She's great.
She's great.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's like a lot of chatter about her online. I just haven't really like dived into like what it's about, whether it's that she's good or that she's canceled or what.
The chatter.
I just keep seeing her name.
I feel like she's probably canceled at this point since I'm just getting to her.
No, the chatter is that she's good.
Yeah, she has all these
But she's super
weird
young, right?
music videos where she's doing weird stuff to her eyes and stuff. I think she's good.
She's like covered in spiders in one
What
video.
kind of
she's covered in
weird stuff is she
spiders.
doing to her eyes?
Like,
Artsy.
So
She's putting a spider in it.
There we go. Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
she drinks a glass of black water, and then the black water starts coming out of her eyes. It's trippy.
Whoa.
Yeah. What did you say, Drew, about her?
Oh, she's young though, right? She's like 14 or 15, I think.
Yeah, she's like 15. So
Yeah.
they're gonna destroy her.
No.
Yeah.
So let's just appreciate her while she's here.
There's a trend of like sad, like teens from the UK just fucking killing it.
Yeah,
she's
for
from
sure.
the UK, right? I'm just assuming with the.
I have
No,
no
isn't she from like Los Angeles or something?
Oh, that
Probably.
makes sense. You can also be a cool teen from LA.
She has a music video where all these frumpy dad types are like sticking their bellies out, and I thought that was kind of cool because it's like she's like objectifying like a dad bod,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of like interesting.
Yeah, that's fun. I know that she like most of her like attire is like snow pants or something. It looks like she's wearing like a gigantic Ned Flanders ski suit.
Yeah, that's
Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
I hate
But
to
it's like-
inform you guys, but that's how cool teens dress now.
Yeah.
we are excruciatingly
It's
not cool.
they dress for comfort and protection because it's just big and puffy, and it's like that's not gonna save you from the industry. Jeremy, what did you do to yourself?
Okay, so I have
I
a
hate
playlist. I have a Spotify playlist. I have a lot of them. I curate a lot of playlists for myself that I listen to while I cook. That's when I listen to music. This week, my playlist has been I call it acceptable mainstream rock. And it is mainstream rock of my youth that I've been listening to. One of which, and this is what I wanted to bring up today, is The Wallflowers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jacob Dylan, what?
That is not what I was thinking. What I was thinking is that sounds made up. I don't know what the Wallflowers are.
The Wallflowers was Bob Dylan's son's band.
Right.
They're good.
In like the early 90s, they had an album called Bringing Down the Horse, and they had an album called, or a song called...
sounds fake.
I know, right? This all sounds like I'm making it up. Totally real. Bob Dylan's son
Bringing
had a
Down the
band.
Horse sounds like one of those like Muppets covers of what the fuck is that guy's name? Never mind.
Talking Heads.
Frank Zappa.
I just melted. Talking Heads, thank you.
You meant to make a David Bryan.
And, I mean, bringing down the horse sounds like the kind of thing you have to do if you're Bob Dylan's son. It's like,
You know what I'm talking about, you guys? No.
no, but I'm proud of you, I guess.
This is the album, I guess.
Anyway, the song that you would know from it is One Headlight.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
It's the one
Yes.
that's like...
If it started playing, you would recognize
You would know it
It was all
immediately.
over the radio.
I love the Wallflowers. So
They're really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good song, that one. It's got the thing that's really interesting in it that I keep coming back to and thinking about is that the whole song, like the rhythm guitar is like distorted and electric, and then the guitar solo is a clean acoustic guitar. It's really weird. I think it's the only song I could think of that does that. I wish this was a
That's so-
visual medium so you could see the face Jordan is making.
Like a cartoon sad face when I heard clean, like a nylon guitar.
Oh, you looked like like Jeff Dunham's old man puppet.
Fun fact, that puppet was actually told by Netflix he was too dangerous. to have a
Damn
special. I know, I'm sorry.
I know it's too inside comedy.
It's too inside. Because this is just what's going on today, and
I
it
know.
won't matter later. This is just dated this episode. Speaking of dating this episode, look, all right, I've been wrong before. If anything, this podcast is just like a like documentation for how all of us are really wrong sometimes.
yeah.
Someone told me on Twitter that Power Man 5000 covered Jump by Van Halen. I thought they were lying. I looked it up. It's real. And God damn it, I loved it. I loved it so much.
Well, I mean, you love Van Halen, so it's hard. It's a pretty easy sell, but they do a good job with it.
They do. Well, because, I was remembering the Cars version cover, and I wasn't into that one. I figured, like, I would listen to this and be like, this is fine. But they they changed most of the melody of the song. Mm-hmm. And they even like wrote their own riff for it, which normally in a cover song is illegal. You should, if you're just gonna write your own riff, you shouldn't be doing that song. But they found a way to do it in a way that fit, and it was great. And then like bring in all of they did the solo exactly the same, which was shocking. Everything was just very surprising and delightful. So I loved it. I loved it. I'm liking. I'm into. This is Power Man from like 2011. So maybe I like whatever he's doing now that no one's listening to.
Drewby, did you listen to anything?
I listened to two things that I thought were pretty cool, actually. One, I listened to the new The Damned Things album.
Oh no!
Do you know what The Damned Things are?
The Keith Buckley Anthrax Fall Out Boy supergroup.
What? Nobody
Yes, it
asked
is.
for that.
I know. Why did you listen
Yeah.
to
Who
that?
from Fall Out Boy is in it?
The drummer and the guitarist.
Yeah, it's the drummer and the guitarist that the only parts of Fall Out Boy that are good other than Pete Wentz's dick. And
Never forget, we saw Pete Wentz's
forget.
dick.
listen, the album is fine. It's not like amazing, but they have this one song that has it's the catchiest song I've ever heard in my life. I think it's the second or third song on the album, and it's like a clap and spell song, and they spell out yell all my friends are going to hell, and it's awesome. It's
That's
really
cool.
fucking cool. So,
I will
you know-
say you consistently the things you bring up on this podcast, I go and listen to and like. So I will listen to that, and when I hate it, that goes all your credibility.
It's on you, Drew.
All
just-
of my credibility, as if I had enough to go around. And the other thing I've been listening to a fucking ton of Sheer Mag, man. Sheer Mag is awesome.
Yeah, dude, they're really cool.
Ooh, they're so good.
Yeah. Everybody at home, if you've never heard Sheer Mag, it's kind of like the band Boston if the lead singer was
A female
Shannon
cigarette.
and the Clams.
She has like a really raspy voice, though.
It's super interesting, and the way they record it, it's really cool too. And then there's just like random fucking solos that are out of this world.
Yeah, I saw them open for Power Trip
Oh,
because
wow.
that tour was
Really?
the coolest thing. Yeah, the first time I saw Power Trip, I wanted to go because I saw that they were bringing Sheer Mag on tour. I was like, this is awesome. I
Yeah.
wish
That's a
shows were
cool
like
lineup.
that.
Yeah, that's a lineup you really can't miss.
Yeah, I was like, those are two very different bands, and that rules. I just want more shows like that. Get just bands that are not like each other.
Yeah.
Like, I want Foxygen, and then I want Madball. Give me that show.
I want Lil Wayne and Blink 182.
Oh my God. All right, I
Kill
guess I
me.
don't want this.
That's a real tour that's really happening. If you guys didn't know,
Is
that's real.
Is Lil Wayne even doing anything?
Who is in Blink-182 anymore besides Mark?
it's Mark. It's who you think it is? It's Mark Travis and Matt Skiba.
It's Mark. It's Mark Hoppus, Jimmy Carter.
Who could have guessed that we'd all be like, Tom DeLonge was the cool one because he'd rather hunt aliens than go on tour.
It's so weird. What a weird world it is.
I know. I got in a fucking Twitter argument with a presidential candidate last night.
You
What?
did? What?
Not a real one. It was Mike Gravel, but I mean, it still counts.
It kind of does.
Oh, you mean you got in an argument with this 22-year-old social media guy?
22. Sorry, he's 17.
All right. Speaking of shit boys, we watched the Metallica documentary, Some Kind of Monster. We watched it with a bunch of our fans that came to Dromedary Bar. It was a lot of fun. Was this anyone's first time seeing this movie?
Oh yeah, it was my first time.
Oh my goodness. Do we have is there a version of what's the movie version of How Do You Think This Happened? Because that's the whole movie is how it
How did this get made?
I mean, this is
Good night,
easy.
folks.
We all wish we were Jason Mantzoukas, but we're all Paul.
At least we've all got better teeth.
except for Lucy. Lucy is June.
Oh, for sure.
Wait, actually,
I've never watched
could
this
work.
podcast.
Wait,
Lucy, this podcast has been a ride for you. You've learned about your favorite band, Metallica. You've learned about their favorite
My new
album,
favorite band.
Saint Anger.
Yeah.
But now you got to see how it was made, how Saint Anger was made. But how do you think that this documentary happened? Because I
mean,
can't
I will
figure out
say-
exactly.
yeah, how did they approve this?
Yeah.
I was prepared for so much young male angst. I was prepared for so much anger, even sane anger. But I wasn't prepared for. I just wasn't prepared for it to look so much like Antiques Roadshow. I wasn't prepared for it to just be like a bunch of rich guys being like, "So how much is this one worth?"
Oh, I have so much to say about
And
that.
I wasn't prepared to fall in love with Lars, but
I can't believe it.
I have a crush on Lars. He's such a cutie.
He's a sociopath, Lucy.
Lucy, he's.
I need to help. No, you cannot fix him.
He's a cute man.
First of all, Kirk's the one you fall in love with because
Yeah,
you're like everyone leave Kirk alone. He's like, man, I just want to collect comic books and surf. And I just wanna have a good time in solo. I just wanna solo, guys. And
Don't
I'm
you just want to help him, like, ride the horse
Lars
better?
is like literally like, yeah, man, I put my money on the wall. I'm a fucking teenage idiot, but in a fucking 35-year-old man's body. I shut down Napster because I was mad.
He's a just like 4-foot little Dutch boy who spent like the payment of a record on a Basquiat and put it in his
shitty apartment.
In his shitty apartment.
I know.
You know what? Wait.
The correct thing I've
biggest
ever seen.
Basquiat in the fucking world.
We
the biggest Basquiat in the world.
established during Saint Anger and then when we did that Megadeth
Lulu.
album
Oh.
that Lucy has a large soft spot in her heart for a man who doesn't understand his own feelings and is just lashing out about it and is confused and hurt himself in his own confusion. And like Lars is, I bet when you watched his dad be like, this album sucks, you're like, yes, Lars, I'm here for you.
I'm like, that must be hard. I can see myself on Messenger being like, that's got to be hard to hear. And, you know, no one knows what it's like to be the sad man. To be the bad man. But,
Are you
you
quoting
know,
Fred Durst or The Who?
I think Lucy only knows the Fred Durst version because of this show.
that is 100% true.
I think that like one of the things about this movie, right, is that it's this really unflinching look at a bunch of like extremely pathetic men.
Yeah.
But I think that there's something to be said for the fact that I think that Lars benefits the most from the editing of this movie.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
disagree.
Because there is a deleted scene that I brushed up on before we came here. I think we've talked about it on the show before. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. We might have cut that. Anyways, there's a deleted scene when it's Kirk Hammett's birthday, and the rest of the Metallica gang are there to have his birthday, and they get him Hawaiian food, and they make him a cake with a picture of him surfing on it, and he comes in and he says, Hawaiian food, this is cool. And he gets like really excited. Everyone's wearing like Hawaiian shirts except for Lars. Lars is not wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He's sulking in the corner.
Yeah.
And like the camera goes over to him and he's like, what the fuck, man? No one ever does anything for me.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, Lars, if this documentary is building a narrative, the villain is Lars.
Yeah.
He's such a shitheel the entire time. And then I mean, they're all idiots. They're all they got famous when they were 16 and now they're grown ass men with children and don't know what to do with themselves. In the opening scene, James is in the Dragula.
He just drives the actual Dracula.
He's in like a fucking like, you know, what the fuck were those cartoons with the monster's eyes bugging out and like a little
Ratfink.
Yeah, he was like a Ratfink cartoon.
Oh, I was
And
gonna say like the wacky races.
yeah, like wacky races. And he's like, man, this isn't about being famous. I don't want to be famous, and I want people to notice me. And he's like in a fucking, he's like battling Penelope Pit Stop.
Important note about James's stupid car. The gear shift is like all the way up above his shoulder. He's got to like reach literally up above to change into third gear.
It's a fucking Frankenstein switch.
The best thing about James in this documentary is that he's the only one who actually has any growth, and
Yeah,
he
it's
grows
true.
up. In the first half of the movie, he's like some sort of like weird, like white trash vampire, and by the end of the movie, he's just Hank Hill.
By the end of the movie, he's gone to lens crafters.
Yeah, yeah. Every time I watch this movie, I notice something else about it. It
Yeah.
truly has layers.
It has layers. It's worth a rewatch.
It's-
I was
It
saying that to
does.
somebody at the screening.
Yeah. You got to watch it like a couple of times. I didn't notice the tomato sandwich that is haunting me.
The ego for them to have gotten approval for this documentary, and you're like, yeah, the people are gonna want to know about this great. Like, can you imagine being so secure that you watch that about yourself, and you're like, yeah, put it in theaters.
Well, there's the last scene where they're like, I might lose $1 million because I have to buy this movie if it doesn't do well. And you're like, wait a minute. Was this not the record label's idea? Did they decide to shoot a documentary because
they
thought
decided
it was
to do
gonna
that.
be?
I think Lars decided.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
think
what's so
there's one
interesting about
thing-
this documentary is that it ends as soon as the album is released, and that's not the story. The story is they put all this work into this album, which is considered one of the worst ever made. And clearly, this was supposed to be like a promotional material for this album. Like, look at how they suffered for their art, and not the actual part that's interesting, which is look at them suffer.
Oh,
I mean, I think that the lesson here is that nature abhors a vacuum, and that vacuum is Dave Mustaine.
oh my God. I could watch that scene with Dave Mustaine making everyone cry like over and over again. I love it so much because like Megadeth is huge. He's wildly successful and he's like, you left me on the bus. You put me on that bus, Lars. I fucking,
That might be why I love Lars so much in this movie. It's just because it's like, he's my Dave Mustaine in this movie.
Wait, what? There is a Dave Mustaine in this movie.
But you see, in
You
this
saw
movie,
it. It's the most famous scene of
the thing is, in this movie, Dave Mustaine is Lars, and Lars is Dave Mustaine.
Everyone, get out of my house.
It's raining.
I just love
It's raining.
Dave Mustaine's commitment to that redheaded stepchild mentality. He just cannot let it go.
Literally the redheaded stepchild.
It's been 30 years.
Yeah.
And he still can't
He's
fucking move on.
wildly successful. He's not gonna like.
He's I think it's like one of those things where
Where you want to hold him?
we're yeah.
I do want to kind of like comb his hair.
I think what happened is that I think Dave definitely had he built the whole band on his anger for it, and I think it's like literally if you get success based on something you built out of like pure vengeance, are you ever able to let anything go?
No, that's true.
Yeah.
When you literally name your band, I'm gonna kill Metallica.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like everyone was like, I can't believe he feels this way. I'm like, you can't. Like after everything we know about him, you can't believe this.
I will say, yeah, the most compelling thing about this whole documentary is all the like arrested male feelings. It's like y'all are all too old to be feeling this way, but that's why I'm very compelled by this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like how much of their emotion is just like, I don't want to say like wrong, but wrong. You know, like they're wrong about so much shit in this movie. Like, can we talk about the Echo Brain stuff?
dude.
Like how
my
much turmoil they're going over a band that I don't think ever released anything.
That was their only show, I think.
Oh my God, when Lars is sitting in
Yeah.
the fucking like auditorium when Echo Brain's like loading up and he's like, I can't believe it. They're amazing.
Dude,
Wait,
my favorite.
The best part of that scene is Bob Rock, who, by the way, that's his real name. I looked it up.
I know,
thought
right?
That
He
was
was
a
born with
nickname.
that name.
Yeah, what else is he going to do with his life with that name? It's like naming your son Jeeves.
He's going to be a geologist.
I swear Bob
Yeah.
Rock
He should be a
came,
geologist.
he was born with a cowboy hat on.
Hi, I'm Bob Rock. I produce Igneous Rock.
Hi, I'm Bob Rock. I sell crack cocaine.
I
but him
played
and Bob Rock are
Geodude
sitting
in
the back of
Detective
that room.
Pikachu.
Him and Bob Rock are sitting in the back of that room, and Bob is just going, "Hey, that guy works in your studio," and Lars is just like, "I don't know him," and they're like, "Hey, that guy, he helped you out with your album. I don't know him either." You fucking piece of shit.
What a
Every fucking
shit.
person in that room you know, and you don't remember any of them. 'Cause you suck.
The one person he does remember is some roadie named Zach, who is very far away from him, and he goes, "Yeah, look over there. Look, there's everybody. There's Zach. Hey, Zach. See, he won't even pay attention to me." And it's like, no, you just said you didn't shout his name loud enough in the venue you're in.
And also, like, oh, woe is you. You just got done not remembering a bunch of people who work for you.
know.
Go fuck yourself.
I know they all have such like rich guy problems, and it's so funny because they kind of try and gloss over the Napster lawsuit. Not like they don't deny it didn't happen, but they don't really want to get into why it was so shitty and like whiny and like that, like just because like they're trying to make them look like cool, relatable guys, and I'm like, nah, dog.
It's crazy because they could have easily spinned it. Like, I was watching the movie and I was thinking about it when they show the cartoon, like that
old
Flash
Newgrounds
animation
cartoon,
from Newgrounds. Like, they could have spun it to be like, we are Metallica and we can afford lawyers, so we're going to sue these people to protect small independent artists.
Right.
Like, not that I believe that, but they could have said that, but it always was just about, no, they took my money and now I can't buy paintings for my apartment.
Yeah. Now I have to downsize to a slightly smaller Basquiat.
No, dude, it sucks, you know? It's like I'm trying to, we need to keep renting the studio for like a couple more months because we only work from noon to 4. That is the most insane thing.
You're giving him such a thick accent.
It's so slight,
It's
but
very
now I notice it because it's like sort
comes
of
out when he's
sort of
drunk, though,
there
when he's selling his
sometimes. You
paintings.
know?
Yeah. It's like a weird hybrid Danish accent and also
Southern
like
California.
SoCal asshole voice.
Guys, can you imagine
Swedish
having
McConaughey.
some going like being the dude who fixes like Lars's boiler and him trying to talk to you about art like he's a smart person? That sounds like the worst thing ever.
I wouldn't be able to make it. That sounds actually like the worst thing ever.
2 things about Lars that I think are really funny, and then we can stop shitting on him. Just kidding. We should keep shitting on him.
Yes.
But the 2 things that I noticed, in the beginning, there's a scene where they're talking about Frankenstein, where he's like, I want to take a little of this and a little bit of that, like a Frankenstein. And he keeps saying it, and Lars doesn't know what a Frankenstein is. Did you notice that? He's like, a what? He's like, a Frankenstein. A what? So
There's a bunch
dude
of
owns
those moments.
Basquiat's, never reads basic books.
It's just such a weird, like, it's one of those uncanny little, like, European things where it's just like, oh, yeah, I guess he just, like, I don't know, he's just from a different country. Maybe they don't have, like, Frankenstein there. I don't know.
No, they did. It's more... No, there's many moments where you're like, oh, these dudes are dumb. Like when they're arguing about the album title and then Lars is like frantic and they're like, well, no, this is why we like Saint Anger better than frantic. And then they're like, that's kind of like a negative connotation. He's like, I've literally never heard frantic used in a negative connotation. I'm like, what? Can you read?
It's so insane. There's one name on the album board that is so funny. I can't remember. It's just like not even anything.
There's also a Sailor Moon drawing on there.
Yeah.
And I tried taking pictures of it like 4 times, but
I know.
my reflexes were not fast enough.
There's just like one called like Doo Doo Mountain or something like that. It's so funny. It's just like, well, there's like a drawing of the Earth or something, and it's just called like Shit World. It's so funny.
Can we talk about the massive ego on these dudes to be like so rude to all these like famous bass players they had come in audition?
Oh,
for
yeah.
them?
Oh my God.
The bass player montage is so much fun.
It's so fucked up. They're like, oh, these fucking twerps. And I'm like, what? You have like Twiggy and fucking like, all these like great session musicians and they're just like,
Yeah. Twiggy wasn't canceled yet, so it was a big get.
yeah.
Wait, is everybody in Marilyn Manson canceled?
No, Twiggy was 9 Inch Nails.
No, Twiggy was
Twiggy
from
was
Marilyn
it was
Manson.
was
Was
Marilyn
Manson also got? Yeah, he's everywhere.
Because
Yeah, he
how
was
else
in a
would
lot
he
of
get
stuff.
the name Twiggy Ramirez?
Maybe he was born with it.
And then what's his face?
He's like Bob Rock.
Yeah, he's Bob Rock.
When they finally pick what's his face, Robert, how do you say his last name?
Trujillo.
Yeah,
Trujillo.
they were like, yeah, he's got a good vibe. I'm like, he's a legend, you shitheads. Like, he's not just like some random guy.
Yeah, their whole thing was like, we want someone our age, and then they pick people who are your age, and they don't know how to play every one of your songs because they've been too busy touring. Like, they're not like babies who grew up learning your songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys have Scott from Caius.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That was crazy.
so crazy.
So fucking
and they're
weird.
Like, we don't know. I was like, I don't know if he should do this.
Yeah, truly. That's how I felt about a lot of them. Or like the dude from like Jane's Addiction. I'm like, you need to leave. Like, just
away
get
from
out
there.
of there.
But that is the best scene in the movie, though. I mean, when they give him $1 million,
So funny.
after showing his shitty apartment, it's like the sweetest thing in the world. You're like, oh my god, this guy's gonna be okay.
I love that they treat it like it's a fucking reality show.
Yeah.
They're gonna give a rose to the one bassist they choose, and then they give him $1 million fucking dollars.
There is an interview out there with, I think it's Lars admits to this. Lars said that the night before Rob's audition, he and Rob went out, and like he made Rob come out drinking with him, and he got Rob so fucking drunk, just like he was just like a sweaty, disgusting mess, and like I either threw up on his shirt or like was just too fucked up and needed another shirt. So Lars gives him a shirt, which is why Rob is wearing that gigantic weird red t-shirt that doesn't fit him because it's fucking Lars's shirt, and that's why Rob is bright red the whole scene.
Yeah, making weird faces and shit.
Making weird faces. It's because he's so fucking drunk and hasn't gone to sleep.
Oh, wow. And that's really fucked up, too, because Lars made him do that. It's like, oh, my friends are sober now, so you have to come drink with me.
You have to come drink with me, dude. And like, then
How good are you at tennis, man?
Come drink with me, American cheeseburger.
not even that.
Oh, my God.
My favorite part of Suicidal Tendencies is how they wear bandanas. They look so cool. But no,
Wait,
so
that's the other thing about Lars that's really funny is that Lars is a 40-year-old man who changes his haircut every 5 minutes.
Oh my
And if you're trying to make a film, you can't do anything out of content. Like if they try to like move scenes around to make it seem like something happened before then because it makes a better story, it's really obvious because all of a sudden Lars has a mullet and then he goes back to looking like he's in Green Day in the next
Look,
scene.
the
you're
man
like, whoa,
has
what
a
the fuck?
vision.
but that's the thing is also, it wasn't like he changed his haircut every 5 minutes because this is 3 years. This documentary
Yeah.
is 3 years long.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
is-
even though fucking Kirk looks exactly the same as he did when he was 12.
Justice for Kirk. I love him so much, and every time I see something
great.
with him, he's just like, he only gets kind of mad once, and it's because everyone's just shitting on him wanting to do a good guitar thing, and he's like trying
You know
to save
what?
this album. He's just like, I just think, we should just play what suits things. And he's like in the car, he's like, I'm just trying to be posy. And
Yeah.
that's so great, that scene where it's basically like Lars realized that James has been talking only to Kirk because he's like, yeah, I don't think he really wants to talk to you, Lars, because you're like, kind of a prick.
Yeah.
And he's in rehab, so he doesn't
It's-
need that energy.
It's so funny.
Well, let's take a look at how they all decided to relax. So Kirk likes to go surfing, and he's celebrating
and
2 years of surfing.
horseback riding.
Yeah.
And a horse.
Lars likes to go hiking with his dad, who he hates, and buys artwork that's more expensive than a fucking church. And then James likes to either drive around like he was in a Beach Boys song as the devil, or he goes to Russia to kill bears alone, away from his
Oh,
family.
right. I meant to keep bringing that up. I liked how he brings it up the first time, and then he brings it up to that random guy. Like, he's like, yeah, I should be focusing on my family. I hate to be away from them, but I was in Russia. It was cool. Like, I'm like, which is it? Are you sad to be away from your family, or are you happy to be drunk shooting bears?
I forgot we didn't talk about the best line of the Echo Brain scene, which is Metallica is dead, Jason is the future.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It's something like that, or like Echo Brain is the future, something like that, where he's
Jason
just like,
is the future.
Every time,
It's definitely Jason is the future, which is the funniest sentence.
every time they cut to Jason, anytime this documentary, he's dropping shit like that. He's like, I made the right choice. I don't regret anything. Everything's fine.
oh, there's
My
that great
chin
part where
looks
he's
like an ashtray.
there's that great part where he's like, I heard about them like going to see a fucking therapist and shit, and I think that's fucking weak.
Yeah.
And you're just like, all right, dude.
He's just mad because there's literally scenes where they're like, man, none of this would have happened if Cliff was here.
But also, the whole story with Jason is they were assholes to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For years, like since the 80s, he was picked on for all of the 90s.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember Fruit by the Foot. He was getting kicked by a foot. Like,
Fuck you.
I'm sorry. But like, you know, I feel like if you're bullies, if you're two bullies, because Kirk didn't do anything to him.
No, he
You
was
know
just
that.
reading Batman comics in the
Yeah.
back of the van.
Exactly. But if just two dudes are like mean to you for 15 years and then they kick you out of the band and then they're like, we're going to therapy, I would also be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck
you fucking
you
assholes.
guys.
You should have gone to therapy in the fucking 80s.
In the fucking 80s when you were dealing with loss and you took it out on me, a fan
Oh
who
my
was
God.
here to help you, and you shut me off on an entire album.
A guy who was in the band for longer than the bassist you were mourning.
Yeah, in the band longer.
Mustaine kind of says the same thing where he's like, I would have loved it if you guys sent my ass to AA instead of putting me on a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mustaine.
Man, what
He's
a
right.
bunch
Can
of-
you imagine if Dave actually went to fucking AA in the 80s?
That would have,
It wouldn't have sticked, probably.
No,
even if it
would've
did, it would have sparked a timeline in which maybe Cliff didn't die. You know, all sorts of things could have changed, and then
Let's
Cliff
not
wouldn't have died,
butter-
and then it could have been a totally different band. It would still have Mustaine and Cliff, and then they would be really good.
Yeah, but they would. Here's the thing.
Wait.
Here's the thing. If they
Don't rag on
if
Kurt.
the timeline changes and they're a thrash band the whole time, they don't become the biggest band in the world
That's
because
true.
they don't write Enter Sandman. If Cliff is alive, he wouldn't let that happen. That's how it, like if they still had Mustaine and Cliff, they would have just been Overkill or something. They would have just been a thrash band.
Yeah, they would have never transitioned into dad. And then they wouldn't have been wearing Von Dutch wife beaters the whole documentary.
They would be hitting up Kat, my roommate, to play the bowling alley.
The Von Dutch wife beater was truly an item of. There was so much fashion choices, and I've wrote some of them down. The Von
Yes.
Dutch wife beater, post sober serious glasses. James at one point, I swear to God, is wearing a kimono.
Yes, he is.
There is a cowboy hat that shows up and just won't go away. Whose is it?
Whose is it? Whose hat is that?
It's going around. There's a lot of chunky jewelry, but
Yes.
how it is worn, Lars gets a pass because he's European, but there was just some looks.
Yeah, James is dressed like a Triple H video package. Like all of that, like all of the little graphics that are on like an entrance or like one of the cars are just like on a pendant.
To be fair,
Crazy.
Kirk also, when you go to his farm and he's like wearing his cowboy costume, that was a lot. His little cowboy costume.
It's so cute. It was like the costume that was given to me when the horse kicked me in the face.
I I like Lars always wearing gym shorts and no shoes and sitting cross-legged on the couch just waiting for someone's mom to bring him orange slices.
Oh my god, that scene where he's wearing a red robe for no reason and he's just like all angry. It was during one of like the 4 door slamming scenes, and I'm like, all right.
I loved.
What
Lars.
about when James comes back from his year of sobriety and he's got that chin strap beard, but he's grown out his soul patch so long it looks like he has a little raccoon tail coming out of it?
No. It's like that scene in Teen Wolf where he gets his first wolf hair right in the middle of his chest, but it's on his chin instead.
Oh, yuck.
But
They all look like Pokemon evolutions of Tom Waits. It was gross.
Is
They
he a
do
Alolan
look alike.
variant?
they look very similar. You are correct. I loved
Also-
that with the bass
sorry, Joe,
player
you say.
scene. I loved that Lars took a photo with everybody wearing a bathrobe. It's so weird. It looked like they just got done with the weirdest porn.
What about the Saint Anger shoot?
Yes.
When they go to, is it San Quentin they go to?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know I said it wrong once, and I'm sorry. I was wrong. Wherever it was it San Quentin? I don't remember.
It was San Quentin.
When they
So-
go to San Quentin, and James goes up in front of all the prisoners and says, "I'm dealing with anger, and that's why you all are here."
I love
Yeah,
that.
that was fucked up.
I love
And then
that
they
they were.
cut
Everybody
to
was just
they
like.
only cut to people in the audience that are white that look like they're in the band.
Yeah, I love that the whole crowd that's watching them looks like the Aryan Nation. Or no, Aryan Brotherhood.
Hey man,
Sorry,
that's a
another
cool
thing I
Irish
got wrong.
rock
Isn't
ring.
white
Where'd you
is-
get it?
Anyone who isn't white is smoking a cigarette and looking at them like, the fuck? The fuck is happening?
Yeah, I could not believe they let James talk so long. They're like,
Cries when he gets off stage. It's crazy.
This was so meaningful to me to tell these prisoners that they're here because they're angry like me.
no, what
I
a,
feel like we all went through something
it's like
together.
the dumbest men.
These are the dumbest men. Like, here's the thing. When you told me about this movie, because I hadn't seen it when we started the podcast, yet I just really, there's no way to prepare someone for what they're about to watch. I don't think. Because you have like an idea. Like, Lucy, this is your first time watching it.
Yeah.
There's
it's very
no
emotional.
way.
I feel bad for all those rich guys selling art. It feels like an emotional experience for them. And
can we
who
talk-
can really? I mean, unless you've been there, unless you've been an upper middle class white guy selling a bunch of very expensive art and buying it, how can you know? How can you know what that's like?
I literally can't know what that's like. I can sort of, because I saw it in a movie, and the guy who was going through it was like, "This is how I feel about it," and I was like, "You might have some displaced feelings about the world."
Yeah.
But
also,
can we talk more about your attraction? I just can't. I can't figure out where it's coming from.
He's
Is
just
that
kind of a cutie. Like
just physically,
I mean,
or
he-
as a person?
I think I agree with you that like visually,
he's kind of a
he's
cutie.
the most attractive member of the
Yeah.
Metallica.
Did what you all? What?
He is the most
but he
attractive member of
also, I get it,
Metallica.
'cause he
Yeah.
has like the opposite of big dick energy. He has like young boy energy, even though he's 42.
Yes.
he's got
Lit-
sniveling dick energy.
He's a
He's
little
got
imp.
weird
He's a
dick
little
energy.
imp-boy.
Kat was giving me a spiel about
He's
why
got
James
sniveling coward energy, and
Yeah.
that's what I really like.
Coward.
he fights with a checkbook. That's how you know.
What was Kat saying?
Kat was saying that James is the most attractive member of the band, and I was like, really? And she was like, well, like, look at it. Like, he feels like the person you're not supposed to like, that people tell you to stay away from in high school. And I was like, I get it from like a school
feel like-
perspective,
yeah.
because he's got acne scars. He's just like a stinky,
Yeah.
like he's just I could see from like a high school perspective why he would be attractive
Sure.
in that way. You know what I mean?
This is a real hypocritical statement of me because, as you guys know, I've kept my hair shorter, except for I'm growing my mullet out now. But I had short hair for many years, and a thing that would irritate me is that when men would ask me when I would grow my hair back out, because that implicates so much stuff to me. But here's the thing. James cut his hair, and to me, he lost all his power.
Yeah,
It's
agree.
over.
Samson hours.
I was like, you know what? The hair's gone. I don't care.
I do think
because
he
when you
is
say that he's the most attractive person in the band, you're judging it by the early '80s, where he's like this crazy hair metal icon with a horseshoe mustache, and not in this movie where he looks like he works at the Costco and hangs out back smoking cigarettes, listening to REO Speedwagon with younger kids.
Yeah, he looked like if there was like a twisted metal version of Super Mario. But Kat told me this while we were watching the movie, so still I don't know.
I love and respect Kat. She's so smart and cool. I respectfully disagree.
Yeah, no, I don't see it in this movie. I think we all like And Justice for All era James is the peak attractive possibility of anyone in this band. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, yeah.
Lars,
Because that's when he's got like the shaved sides of the head and like crazy long.
yeah, it's just long, like messy hair, but not like wrestler wet hair. It's just like he's been doing something.
It's when the Spawn figures are from, right? When they made like they made.
What are you
Sorry, what?
when the Spawn people made the action figures of Metallica.
Oh, the McFarlane Company.
I guess,
didn't know they
sure.
made this.
Yeah, there were Metallica action figures, which they made a later appearance in the Sum 41 music video, where they did all the toys and whatever, and they like taped their faces on top of the Metallica action figures. But they made these old Metallica action figures. So I'm pretty sure they're modeled after Justice for All era.
And they're in this documentary too. They're hanging from the Christmas tree.
Oh, are they?
Oh my God, you're
there's a
right.
shot.
Yeah. Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Those aren't Christmas ornaments.
I
Those
thought
are
they were like
$40 action
figurines,
figures.
so I didn't know.
Yeah, they're little action figures. They're little G.I. Joes.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
My favorite part about like McFarlane rock and roll action figures is that they never have any articulation. Like the knees don't bend, just like the real artists.
It's so funny. I think my favorite scene in the movie is because it's so properly narratively placed in the documentary when James comes back and they're finally gonna like play music again.
Yeah.
For the first time, and like James picks up his like guitar that looks like the slide bar in LA. Just a fucking it's just got it's just a shitty
Is that
metal
like
thing.
diamond metal shit?
Yeah,
whatever they
metal
call that?
plated.
Yeah.
Buh, buh, buh. And they sit down, and James starts playing the most boring fucking riff I've ever heard in my entire life. And they start jamming on it. And Bob is just like, man, it's like it's the next day. And James, you can see that James is so clearly disappointed with how it felt to play music with them. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen because it's supposed to be the moment where like the band feels reinvigorated.
Yeah.
He's been to therapy, but James just it's like it's like you saw a movie and like finally the people kissed and someone was like not into it.
Not into it.
Not about it.
Wait, one more thing to touch on before we wrap up, but
I would definitely watch Dave Mustaine and Lars kiss.
Yes.
I love how gross you're being right now. Lucy.
This egg dress is making you so horny.
I love it. I'm all about Summer Lucy vibes.
Wait.
Me and you are gonna get into some gross conversations. I'm ready for it.
one more point to bring up, which is Bob Rock. his really strong I go to therapy energy. Like his weird, like, fucking, like, I'm in touch with my inner self sort of vibe when he talks to people.
It's so funny. Look, he's also lying the whole movie. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he's been working with these guys for 20 years, and he knows that he has to lie to get. They're making so much money. They're paying the therapist $40,000
That's why the
a month.
That's why the therapist like starts crying when they're like kind of firing him because he's just like, oh, that money.
dude,
Yeah,
we haven't talked
he's
about
gonna
the
sell his
therapist
house
at
to be
all.
closer to the band.
Yeah, he's trying to join the band.
Yeah, that
and that's
guy-
the best part.
That guy's nuts. The therapist, like, I like that. That's like a horror movie within this documentary. Is him
Yeah.
getting like weirdly attached to the band and
Yeah.
talking like he's part of the process.
Dude, it's like he feels very similar to the therapist that that is in the episode of Curb. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? It's Steve Coogan playing the therapist, and it's after Larry David gets divorced, and he's like he's going to therapy, and Steve Coogan goes, all right. They're like he's trying to get back together with his wife, and so Steve goes, all right, you take your hand, and you say, I want you to move in with me. And you have till Monday to decide. He like tells him to like give Cheryl an ultimatum, and it just fucking ruins his entire life.
Yeah.
And so he's like pulling the therapist into his life, and like they stage a fake mugging. I was like, this is crazy when I was watching Curb, but then I saw this therapist. I'm like, this could happen. Famous people have therapists like this. If you're too rich, you gotta like make sure that you have a therapist that you can trust, because this shit is out of control. They'll wear a sweater and try to join your thrash band.
Yeah, that's true. So we can't pick a favorite song for this.
Wait, I have one more thing. Sorry, I think this is a good one. Have you guys read the Wikipedia page for this movie?
No.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure Dave Mustaine edited the Wikipedia page because
Yes.
the first thing that happens when you open it up, right? You know, it says synopsis. It says this article's plot summary may be too long or excessively detailed, and I'm thinking, ooh, someone's put some extra stuff in here. The second paragraph about the movie is literally talking about the Mustaine interview, and it goes into some details that aren't in the movie.
Yeah.
First detail, they interviewed him on Dave's 40th birthday. That was Dave's 40th birthday.
Damn,
Jesus.
He was already feeling bad.
That's so fucked up.
The second detail, apparently, according to this Wikipedia article edited by Dave Mustaine, is that they did that interview on September 13th, 2001. 2 days after the September 11th attacks.
Dude, are you serious?
Yeah, this is what the article says. First, the scene with Mustaine and Ulrich was filmed precisely 2 days after the September 11th attacks, a day when the entire United States was in a severe state of melancholy. Secondly, this coincidentally also just happened to be Dave Mustaine's 40th birthday.
Oh man, I hate how much I'm empathizing with Dave Mustaine right now.
It gets better. And then they go, for many years until burying of the hatchet between him and Metallica, Mustaine would grouse that he would much rather have spent his 40th birthday in Arizona with his wife and kids rather than on a couch in the Bay Area talking to Lars, even though the two had not had any serious personal contact for many years. Dave 100% wrote that. But that's the other thing that's really interesting is that they were filming the documentary, and I guess this movie came out in 2004, so maybe it was it would have been a little tacky to include it then. But now that we're 18 years removed
So
from
far
it,
away.
I really wish that the September 11th footage was in there. I want to know how Metallica reacted on the day the towers fell.
I said that when we were watching the movie. I said that to you. I said, I'm surprised there's not a 9/11 scene in this.
It's probably because, to be honest, they just probably didn't grieve that
Yeah,
hard.
they
I
didn't
mean,
even
to be
think
honest,
about
they
it.
probably just did 9/11.
With Fred Durst. They were on the top of the tower with him shooting the music video.
Listen, ask yourself, why did 3,000 Lars Ulrichs call work that day?
Give me jet fuel, give me fire,
All right.
give me melted steam beans I desire.
The battery on my computer is gonna die soon, so we gotta wrap this up.
I love that.
Favorite scene?
God, that's crazy.
Scenes?
Man, Dave Mustaine's the hero of this movie and Lars is the villain.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite Lars Ulrich hair?
I don't think I have
I don't
one.
have any
Favorite scene, I think, would probably make
Sure.
sense. Right?
Yeah.
Favorite scene of the movie?
When they're
Yeah.
all writing lyrics for the first time, because James normally doesn't let them contribute, and how excited they genuinely are. And then
Yeah.
when Kirk giddily says, "My lifestyle determines my death style," and they're all like, "That's sick."
Yep.
For me, it's probably when Lars is like is rapping and he's like, "I don't need your pussy, bitch. I'm on my own dick." Look, you could say he's crazy, but that's a great line.
Yeah? Sure.
My favorite scene is a deleted scene that I just rewatched today. It's not the birthday scene. It's a different one where they're trying to teach Kirk the riff from some kind of monster. The doom, and he just can't get it. And he keeps trying over and over again.
I've watched
and it's
that,
just really frustrating. And James is just like, no. Okay, so it's like, he's literally doing it with his mouth, and Kirk's like, I'll get it soon. Don't worry.
But then I believe in that clip, he's like, "I feel like this isn't working." They're like, "No, it's great."
Yeah. Here's the thing. It is my least favorite riff in the entire world. is the some kind of monster riff. I hate that. It's just the same notes and they just get
Yeah, it
sounds like a Guitar Center.
It's bullshit.
It's such a bullshit riff.
Drew, do you have one?
Oh, yeah.
My favorite scene is definitely where they go hiking with Lars's dad, who's a wizard, and it's just like, no, they're doing their own thing. It's like Led Zeppelin or other bands that are good, only they're bad now.
Mine is that when they all play together and it sucks. They all play together and they all don't. James realizes, fuck, I don't like this. It's so funny. That I also love that in the movie that every time they talk after they're trying to use therapy speech, they're I can see that they're trying to talk to each other with the words of therapy, but they're like, I just feel that it's shitty.
Yeah, I feel like you fucking suck.
My favorite scene is actually when
Are you holding up a
they address
lollipop?
the camera people.
Are you holding a lollipop?
Oh yeah, I'm eating candy. I'm a child.
Not
I've got that
candy.
Lars Ulrich
Not candy. Let's be clear. This is not just candy.
You're in your house. You didn't go to the dentist today, and you have a lollipop.
You know what's awful? I found it. I don't know where it came from. I think the bank, but I think not my bank.
Okay. I hate to be
It's
mom,
from somebody else who went to the
I
dentist.
fucking suck.
Okay.
but
Okay.
I'm in Red Bar, so we gotta.
All right.
We gotta go.
Okay. Plugs, everybody. Plugs.
You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at the Steinbag. And I also have a podcast called Our Love is Disgusting with my fellow comedian and lover, Ray Kump, where we talk about sex, relationships, and all things comedy. And if I sounded horny on this episode, that might be why. Write us. Hey, ask us your questions about sex and relationships. We'll give you our totally uninformed opinion, and we'll overshare about our relationship with you. It's very funny and very sexy. Check it out.
And you're working on a new thing with our friend David Spector, are you not?
Yeah, so we're working on a super secret project together.
Okay, we don't have to talk about it.
But as soon as it's available, we'll let you know. But that's a good tease.
All right, I will keep it in.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah, you
blow
gotta
up
cut.
people's
No, you gotta
stuff.
cut it out, or else it'll never happen.
It'll never happen.
They'll cancel it.
You can find me on Twitter at Katie Rose, and you can listen to me and Jeremy's other podcast, Ballin' Out Super. It's about anime and our annoying politics. Okay, Jeremy.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at Jeremy Thunder, and fucking balling out super. We're photoshopping pictures of Goku and Vegeta kissing on top of pictures of Bernie Sanders.
You are photoshopping.
I'm photoshopping pictures, and you know what? It's going real well. You know what? They like it on fucking Twitter, so I keep doing it.
Okay, Drew.
Hey, what's up? This is Drew Kaufman. I'm eating a lollipop I found in my house. You can follow me on Twitter at diet_Hellboy, on Instagram at diet_Hellboy. You can also follow my photography Instagram, Drew Kaufman Photography. And Lars, if you're out there, buy a print. I'll make one for you.
Buy his art, you coward.
Let's
Do it. You have space on that wall. That could be that could be a picture from Japan. All right. Follow me on Twitter, Mr. Jordan Olds, at Dr. Mayer on Instagram. Follow my dog at Great Hambino on Instagram. Please donate to the 2 Minutes to Late Night Patreon. It's we're gonna be picking the show up in a little while. We're gonna be doing shows at a bunch of fests coming up over the summer. We're gonna give you the details of that when they're a little more concrete. And yeah, follow 2 Minutes to Late Night on Instagram at 2 Minutes to Late Night, on Twitter at 2M2LN. All right. Eat a tomato sandwich. Don't do that. I don't know, man.
Flush it out.
Hey.
You gotta flush it out.
Determine your destiny. Good night, everybody.
Jeremy is the future. Good night.